So, a group of pimple puss people are building an all-white community in the Ozark Hills in Arkansas.
Are we seriously mad about people wanting to have a whites only community? Let's not forget the fact that we always label things black own this and black own that.
It is okay to be white.
No, that's not okay. It's terrible to be white.
Okay. A lot of people that we would speak to today would call what you're saying racist.
Yeah, I am racist.
Are you serious? Or are you...
100%.
So you just don't like white people as a whole?
No.
All right, guys. So apparently there's a white-only town being built out in the Ozarks. You heard me. White-only, not diversity-friendly, not inclusive, just white. And it's called Return to the Land. And from what I've heard of it, they're not accepting black people, Jews, or gay people. And to be honest, I am not mad at them, not even one bit, because whether you like it or not, this is what happens when you push people to the edge. And now the internet is having a full-blown meltdown, white supremacist compound, hate group, a threat to democracy, blah, 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 all the usual program responses. People want to shut down, banned, canceled, erased from existence like it never happened. Meanwhile, others are like, good, people should have the right to surround themselves with like-minded people and people that look like them. The internet is divided and the outrage is loud, but what is really going on here? Is this town actually the threat they're making it out to be? Or is this what happens when you demonize a group long enough, they finally say, fine, we'll go build our own? Because let's be honest, when people feel attacked, they separate. That is human nature. You can only call someone evil, racist, privileged, and oppressive for so long before they say, you know what, we're out. And if you've seen my episode on when did being white become a crime, then you already know the pattern. Demonization leads to division, division leads to self-preservation, and now here we are. So let's talk about it. Who's behind this town? What do they actually believe? Why is the internet foaming at the mouth over it? And most importantly, what does it say about where we are as a country when people feel so alienated that they start building racially exclusive towns just to feel safe? We're going to get into all of it today. I am Carmen Jaycee, and welcome back to the channel. If you want to support the channel, hit the super thanks or tap the link to buy me a coffee down below because you asked and I delivered. I appreciate every single one of you that stands with me. Now buckle up and let's get into it. Okay, so let's not even waste time. Let's go ahead and start with this first clip. Go ahead and take a listen.
So, a group of pimple puss people are building an all-white community in the Ozark Hills in Arkansas. That is literally a requirement to join this community. You must be white, they said. No black people, no Jewish people, no homosexuals or anyone a part of the LGBTQIA plus community. You must prove your European ancestry, and you must be Christian and not follow any non-European religion. If I'm being honest, my initial reaction upon hearing about this all-white community being built, praise be. Praise We have prayed for times like this. People have been begging for years for white people and J-Lo to go away and stop bothering us. But unfortunately, I know this community is very unserious and it's not going to last for a couple of reasons. Number one, the community is called Return to the Land. Having people prove European ancestry to join a community called Return to the Land on American soil? Be so fucking for real. I'm gonna hold your hand with a napkin in between when I say this. That's not your land to return to. If anything, you should be returning that land to Native Americans. They're talking about we're creating this community because we want to be able to control who our neighbors are. If y'all would have left the world the fuck alone and stopped Christopher Christina Columbus Lopezing everything, we wouldn't have this problem. Then they're talking about we want to be able to preserve white American culture. The fucking irony of building a community on stolen land to preserve white American culture. Is this their way of trying to convince everyone that they were given the villain edit? Like, no, bitch, you're just the fucking villain. Like, what the White Americans have no culture. Their only culture is stealing. So to say you're preserving your culture by building a community on stolen land, a brain-eating parasite would starve. Second reason I know this all-white community is not going to last, the family tree is a wreath. And in an all-white town, the only people for the white men to oppress are their cousin wives and their children. Not being able to oppress other minorities, that's not going to fully scratch that oppressive itch that they have. And you know what happens when a white man gets tired of his wife and children. Click, boom! If they were to return to their actual land in the mountains of Caucasus and leave everyone else alone, the world could begin its healing. But the second they realize they can't fully participate in their favorite extracurricular activity of bigotry, they're going to voluntarily dismantle that community. Let's also not forget, they had to be taught how to properly bathe, and they don't believe in vaccines. Mother Nature has the opportunity to do the funniest thing ever right now.
All right, this mindset right here is exactly why some white people want to separate. It is not just about race. It is about this entitled, bitter energy that refuses to die. If you got people holding on to things that happened centuries ago, like it is their emotional support trauma, screaming about stolen land while we're living off the system in a country they refuse to appreciate. This is delusional. Now let's go ahead and play another video. This one has a lot more sense. Let's take a listen.
Are we seriously mad about people wanting to have a whites-only community? Let's not forget the fact that we always label things black own this and black own that. So a white man, Eric Orwell, wanted to establish his own town for his own people, white people. He wanted to control who he had as neighbors. His goal is to preserve the purity of his culture and traditions. So what are we mad for? Let's not forget, a couple years ago, Ashley Scott and Renee Walters got together and created their own community, their own black community. They wanted to create generational wealth and keep their legacy and culture. So I'm confused. What's the problem when the white people want to do it? And I know what you're going to say. You're going to try to bring up history and that victimization mentality. We're not doing that. We are not doing that. That happened many years ago. We're talking about now. We're not going to continue to bring up the past. At one point, we did have Black Wall Street. And yes, it was destroyed. However, we had the ability to rebuild and we didn't. We were defeated. So we're not going to continue to play the victim. This is a voluntary self-segregation, not a forced one. Get over it.
I mean, facts. She said it perfectly. There's nothing wrong with wanting to live among people who reflect your values, your culture, your standards. That is not hate. That is boundaries. And quite frankly, if more people have boundaries, maybe this country wouldn't be in this mess. So let's go ahead and break down who's actually behind this town, because this wasn't just random. These men knew exactly what they were doing. Let's get into it. Let's start with who's behind this so-called controversy. Eric Orwell, a Missouri-based entrepreneur with roots in alternative publishing and homesteading spaces, alongside Peter Sear, a libertarian tech activist who's been deep in the off-grid and data privacy world for years. Together, they co-founded Return to the Land. It's a private gated community in the Ozarks built specifically for like-minded people who share Christian values, traditional American living, self-sufficiency, and yes, European ancestry as well. Now, of course, the media is losing its mind, calling it a white supremacist compound, a national security threat, a hate group, and all the usual hysteria they throw at anything that doesn't bow to the system. But before we go any further, let's take a look at what Return to the Land actually is and why the internet is in full-blown meltdown mode. Let's go ahead and take a listen.
Return to the Land is a private association founded to allow Americans who value their history and heritage to form communities around these values. The Fair Housing Act prohibits discrimination in real estate sales such that Americans who would want to live among their co-ethnics cannot do so through the free market alone. The Fair Housing Act does, however, allow private associations, which themselves do discriminate on whatever basis, to manage real estate for communities of their members. RTTL is a nationwide association that's dedicated to 1. Making sure we can safely and legally build communities for white Americans by investing in legal research and building funds for the legal defense of our right to freely associate. And 2. Recruiting a broad network of like-minded traditional Americans and facilitating the establishment of legally secure physical communities for them around the country. Because of the legal challenges posed by anti-discrimination laws, there are many ways to go wrong and make yourself and your community liable if you try to build white neighborhoods without first collectivizing for our common legal defense. We provide documents, recruiting platforms, and training for people seeking to form such communities. And yet, individual communities are free to form around whatever particular set of values and practices they like. We are welcoming of Christians and pagans, the more individualistic and the more collectivistic alike. Each community is organized by a company that we help association members to form. These companies are the legal entities that own and manage the land that the communities use, and the company's internal, but legally enforceable contracts spell out which piece of land is reserved for which member. By focusing initially on rural areas with little in the way of building codes or zoning laws, and that have abundant, inexpensive parcels of land, we're able to offer a way out of the mainstream anti-white system that's affordable and achievable even for those without any experience homesteading. By developing land together, we create well-paid work opportunities and share skills. We'd like to eventually expand into urban areas as well. Because of the benefits and savings that come from developing our own infrastructure, we hope to ultimately help white Americans obtain low-cost housing in safe communities in every U.S. state.
Listen, right now where we are in this country, this was kind of inevitable. We've let 10, 20, 30 million, however many million, illegal immigrants flood into this country unchecked. Then we let anti-white rhetoric flood the media 24/7. And on top of that, we let the complete degeneracy within the Black community go unchecked too. So this is what we get. White people are hated in this country. You can't even say white lives matter without it being demonized. You can't say it's okay to be white without people completely losing their minds. So, of course, some people are going to say enough is enough. And quite frankly, they have every right to. And just listen to these two black ladies say, it is not okay to be white. Take a listen.
Do you agree or disagree with the following statement? It is okay to be white.
No, that's not okay. It's terrible to be white.
Okay. What do you think?
No. Y'all got too much. Yeah, y'all got
Who
too much
want to be
leeway.
white? That's awful.
No.
Okay. So why is that? Why is it not okay to be white?
Y'all have the race as a people. Y'all have done too much. I would
As a
rather,
people?
yeah, as a whole,
And it's a group of people.
Too much
that-
good or too much bad?
too much bad.
You know, it's a group of people that's okay. Like some people fall in the line, like, you know, we okay and we all together. But the majority is not.
Is like bottom of the barrel, really.
Really?
Yeah.
What should white people do about that?
There's not
Like,
much
what
y'all can do, but just gotta deal with it.
What should I do about that? Do you think?
Try not to be white.
You're right.
Just, that's all you can do at this point.
No.
Try to be at least
Be
white as possible.
open-minded, listen more.
Is it okay to be? Is it okay to be Asian?
Nah, you don't want to be them either. Nah.
How about black?
Definitely that. That's it. It's all you could be. It's the coolest thing to be. I mean, you really, after that, you talking bottom of the barrel, really. Asian, that's probably worse than being white, ain't it?
A lot of people that we would speak to today would call what you're saying racist.
Yeah, I am racist.
Are you serious? Or
100%.
so you just don't like white people as a whole?
No, I don't.
And that right there proves my point, because much like these white people who are clearly fed up with everybody and made it clear that they don't want black people, Jews, or gay people, I myself am tired of ghetto behavior in my own community. We as black people need to separate the dysfunction in our community too. The loud, the ignorant, backwards behavior that makes us all look bad, that's dragging us down. These people who sit spewing this kind of trash, it's not okay to be white with zero self-awareness. That mindset is not just wrong, it is dangerous. We should be taking a page out of these people's book, because they don't like what's happening. They build something new. They organize, they invest in it, they get legal protection behind it. They're not waiting around, they are building. That is not hate, that is strategy, that is structure, and that is what community looks like. And to be honest, I think it is quite genius. I've been saying this would happen. You keep mocking people, erasing them, shaming them, and then eventually they will respond. Not with whining, not with chaos, but with clarity, with money, and with real action. Because this is what it looks like when people stop begging and start building. So now I want you to imagine if Mexicans were projected to be a minority in Mexico by 2045. Seriously, imagine a headline. Would Mexicans be told to embrace it? Would the media say it's a good thing, that it's progress, inclusion, and some other globalist buzzword? Absolutely not. The country would be on fire. There would be protests in the streets and national outrage, mass panic, and not a single person would dare call them racist for wanting to protect their own culture, their land, and their way of life, because that would be seen as common sense. But when white Americans hear the same thing, when they're told that they'll be a demographic minority in a country they build, suddenly it's white supremacy if they question it. Let's take a listen to how casually this is being framed like it is something to celebrate. Go ahead and take a listen.
Something that has been predicted for decades, a shift in demographics in America, now sparking some fresh conversations about race and what it means politically. An analysis of census data from the Brookings Institute projects the number of white Americans will fall below 50% for the first time ever in about 20 years, 2045. At the same time, more Americans are multiracial and they don't identify exclusively with one box. Julia Manchester, national political reporter for The Hill, joining me right now. Okay, Julia, I read this article published in The Hill. More and more people have a child, a grandchild, another relative married in who is from another ethnic group. 4 in 10 people, according to this Brookings data, identify with a group other than white. So you can't put people in boxes.
So if you're a white in America, why exactly would you think that this is a good thing? To be honest, this isn't about population shifts. It's about filling the vacuum. America isn't being enriched. It's being replaced. And a whole lot of what's replacing it isn't bringing stability, values, or loyalty. It's bringing dysfunction, entitlement, resentment, and straight up cultural decay. We've got millions of people pouring across the border illegally, not learning English, not respecting the country, not contributing anything but chaos. These people refuse to assimilate. Oh, and not to mention, a disturbing number of these people walk in the door already hating white people, already blaming them for their problems, which they didn't create, already trying to take from a system that they didn't help build. So when white Americans see the writing on the wall, when they hear you're going to be a minority in your own country, what exactly are they supposed to do? Cheer? No, they're going to respond, as they should. Because this is exactly what happens when you demonize a group 24/7, open the borders, erase the culture, mock traditional values, and then act shocked when people start checking out. To be clear, they're not running from diversity. They're running from destruction. And quite frankly, I do not blame them one bit, not even a little bit. So when white people want to build their own enclave, it's problematic, it's racist, it's dangerous, it is a hate group. But when black people do it, oh, it's empowering, it's healing, it is a safe place. Imagine that. Let's take a listen to these two ladies talk about building their own safe haven in Georgia, a place that they call freedom. No pushbacks, no FBI raids, just praise, press coverage, and hand claps. Let's take a listen.
We are the buying power. If we can just teach each other to circulate our dollars within the community, we will solve our own problems. We are literally the answer to our own problems, but we have to change our thinking and come together. My name is Renee Walters, and I am the president of the Freedom Georgia Initiative. I have a black husband, I have a black son. Every time he would leave out for work or just to go to the store or anything, I would have a sense of anxiety just from watching everything that we've been going through lately with the pandemic and watching our black men being murdered on national television in front of everybody. It kind of just all shook us by storm. It's now time for us to get our friends and family together and build for ourselves. That's the only way we'll be safe. That's the only way that this will work. We have to start bringing each other together.
Now, mind you, after watching that clip, you see that when they do it, it's building a community. It's reclaiming their space. It's called Black excellence. But when white people say we want peace, we want values, we want to preserve our culture, they get labeled as extremists before the paint even dries. And do I really need to remind the black community about the problems within the black community? Black people kill more white people every year than the reverse. And we commit more violent crimes per capita, and yet somehow we've convinced ourselves that we're the ones who need to be protected from them. So the fact that black people can get away with this as if white people are the problem and be applauded for it when the call is literally coming from inside the house is amazing. This is exactly why I don't see a problem with these white-only towns being built, because they have every right to separate themselves just like everybody else. And as a matter of fact, I said this already. I made a video about this before this topic was even viral a couple weeks ago. Let's go ahead and take a listen to that. People should have the right to opt out being integrated with the black community. And I'm not saying that to be mean. I'm saying that if black people is going to continue to display the amount of dysfunction, the amount of degeneracy that is coming out of the black community, people should have the right to opt out of it. Now, let me be clear. My intentions has always been to promote healthy connections and healthy relationships within your own community. You should be able to have the freedom to be around people who reflect your values and your lifestyle. This is not about hate. It is about standards. And quite frankly, a lot of the behavior that is coming from the black community and other communities, I am not okay with it. I don't want to be around it. So I fully understand a different culture of people not wanting to be around it either. And guess what? That does not make them evil. It makes them honest. Like, seriously, the amount of people pouring into this country, I damn near do not recognize this country. So I am not mad at white people when they say, hey, this country has been built on white Christian values, and we're not seeing that. Let me just make this clear. Return to the land is not the problem. It is the response. You cannot demonize white people 24/7, flood the country with dysfunction, mock tradition, and then act shocked when people say enough is enough. And quite frankly, they have every right to. If black people or the LGBTQ groups built a town rooted in their values, it is called empowering. So when white people do it, it's labeled dangerous. That is not equality, that is hypocrisy. And let's be honest, a lot of us don't want to be around the dysfunction either. These people have the guts to separate themselves. That's not hate, that is structure. So instead of crying about it, match it. Raise your standards, build something worth protecting, because this isn't about exclusion, it is about self-respect. All right, so as promised, I'm going to read a couple of these super thanks because I love you guys and I want to show you guys my appreciation. So the first super thanks is going to be from Rock Marsh 123, and it just says thanks. So thank you, Rock Marsh, for supporting the channel and watching. I appreciate that so much. And Bob Paul says, thanks, oh Carmen, always put you in my daily rotation with Benny Johnson, Gary Frenchie, and Mark Dice. And you are such a great social commentary momentary change of pace. A beautiful woman with a beautiful mind is certainly helpful also. Well, thank you so much, Bob Paul. Shout out to you, and I really appreciate you for watching, and your support is always appreciated. The last person is JJ. JJ, I appreciate you. He just says thanks. Thank you so much. He donates every time as well. So thank you, JJ, for donating, and thank you guys for all being here watching. I am Carmen Jaycee. Thank you for joining me. If you want to support the channel, hit the super thanks or tap the buy me a coffee link below. I do this all on my own, and every bit helps me keep spreading this message. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys, and I will see you guys next time.
Conscious culture, we awaken and we learn. Fire in our spirits, watch the system as it burns. Question every lesson, let the real truth return. We break the mold, and now it's our turn.